Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and this is day 12 of me making YouTube videos and gratitude lists. And I'm trying this on a different phone, well, different camera. Not sure I got the angle I like or the color for the background. It looks kind of cheesy to me, but it's kind of dark and weird to me, is what it looks like. So I hope it's not too bad for everybody watching this, and I apologize. I'm just trying to figure out this technology stuff, and I really don't want it to take like 5 hours to upload a YouTube video like it did yesterday, because that was just ridiculous. And it didn't take that long in the beginning, and now it's seeming to take that long because, I don't know, my phone's using up all of its storage space, data space, whatever, to upload one little video. So anybody that's like YouTubers, does all these video things all the time, if anybody wants to like shoot me a message and tell me how to do this so that it doesn't like eat up all my storage, and so you guys can still hear me and I can still do these videos without waiting 5 hours for it to upload, that would be great. If this works, I'm just going to keep using this old phone. It doesn't have any service on it, but obviously, nice thing about old phones, you can just connect them to Wi-Fi and you can still do stuff with them. So, technology, right? Not my not my forte, my favorite thing. Still trying to figure out the whole Twitter thing. Tried Instagram and got kicked out of that, and I have no idea why. I tried to get back in, and it said I was back in, and then it kicked me out again. And now they just send me emails telling me I should connect with people on Instagram, and I'm like, haha, you're cute, except you won't let me on Instagram. So, no Instagram account for me. Sorry, that one's just gonna stay dormant. I'm not even gonna try that anymore. Um, so, this is just me trying to promote my book that I'm still trying to convince myself to write, and reminding myself that I had someone tell me once that I do things when I'm ready and I don't do things before I'm ready. And I have to remind myself of that because it's nice that someone else pointed that out to me, because I obviously don't know that about myself. So I'm, I'm still learning things about myself, so that's good. Um, so anyway, the point to that is, it's like, I guess I won't finish my book until I'm ready to finish my book, and I want to force myself to be ready, and I can't do that. That doesn't work. Forcing solutions does not work. It does not make things better. It doesn't make things happen faster, and if anything, trying a whole bunch of random crazy stuff, one, makes me insane, and two, probably makes the situation worse instead of better. So I just need to relax and let myself deal with the situation one day at a time and see what happens. So, yeah, need to just let things happen and go with the flow. And I, I'm still struggling with that, to be honest. And I second guess myself all the time. And I think I get a lot of stuff up here, but I have a really hard time getting it in here, like internalizing it emotionally and feeling like this is where I'm at. Because I'm learning this concept where I'm like, okay, it's okay to be myself, to express who I am. This is a good thing. Still have to be aware of other people and their feelings, not to like stomp on them too, just trying to become a well-rounded person. But it's still difficult for me to stop being a people pleaser. I've been trained my entire life to be a people pleaser, to put everybody else first, to make everybody else happy. And then I go and I set a boundary or I say no. And then even though nobody says anything to me, I I question myself. I'm like, are they going to hate me because I said this? Do I have to justify this to them? Do I have to explain everything to them? I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to explain anything to anybody. It's okay to just say this is how it is. But, when I was growing up, it was like, no, just wasn't an answer. It just, I was like, well, I said no. And I was like, well, that doesn't mean anything, because I knew you'd understand. So it's okay. I just did it anyway. Or, oh, that bothers you? Well, it doesn't bother me. So I'm just going to do it anyway. I got that a lot. And I was like, okay, I'm just a pushover. I'm just a doormat. I'm just invisible. People don't see me. People don't care. I don't get it. I still have feelings here. So the trick for me now is trying to realize that I'm like, okay, my feelings do matter. I can feel my feelings. I can work through my feelings. I can say no. I can set a boundary, and I can just be like, I said no and I'm not going to do it now. And you can't make me. Then, the whole tug of war thing, or it's like, if I'm going to say no, it's like, well, why can't you do it? Why won't you do it? Why is the answer no? And then it's like, I feel like I have to justify why I'm not doing things. I justify it to myself, I justify it to other people. It's this big, huge, long explanation. And now I'm like, oh, but it really is none of their business. It really doesn't matter what my reasons are. And maybe it needs to matter to me, my motives, my whatever. And maybe it's just because, I need to take care of myself. I don't have the extra energy to do that today. I just really don't like doing that. I just really don't want to. That was never a good answer. By the way, that was like, oh, well, then you're going to do it anyway. that was not a good answer. Um, it is now. It's an okay answer now, but it's still adjusting to that answer. And it's still uncomfortable for me. That change is a little bit uncomfortable. It's like the first time I remember, being a 12-step program, working my steps and feeling like this moment of peace where things weren't spinning in my head. There weren't 1,000 things I was trying to do. I didn't have a to-do list a mile long. I wasn't like freaking out about disappointing everybody. I wasn't, whatever. It was just calm inside my head and I was totally at peace. And I just sat there and I'm like, something's wrong. Like, I don't know what to do with this feeling. This is weird. Everything's done and I'm just sitting here like, I don't know what to do with this feeling. I didn't know how to enjoy it. I didn't know how to appreciate it. And I've since come to learn to enjoy that and appreciate it. And right now I kind of miss that. I have not had that feeling of peace and serenity for a long time. I mean, that's not entirely true. As I've been doing these gratitude videos, I've kind of felt moments of like just peace. Or like, okay, I'm in the right place. I'm doing the right thing. My head is not spinning. I'm not questioning myself. So I'm like, okay, if I'm not questioning myself, I must be doing the right thing. So when I questioned myself, I'm like, did I make the wrong choice? Should I change my mind? Should I go back and do it, retrace my steps? And I think sometimes the answer is still no. I think it's just this is a new behavior for me. It's different. And so I don't know what the response is going to be from other people, the reaction from other people. So I'm still waiting, for the proverbial other foot to drop, for somebody to pull the rug out from underneath of me and tell me that this isn't going to work. This isn't going to be my life. And I think I'm spending a lot of time right now just staring into the unknown going, okay, what's the trick? When's the shoe going to drop? When's the rug going to pull out? I'm trying to justify all these things that I'm doing because I want a better life. I want to feel better. I want to be healthier. I want to do stuff. I'm having to listen to my body. When it tells me that it's tired, I have to sleep. It tells me it's hungry, I have to eat. Thirsty, I have to drink. Man, my body is very demanding. Taking care of myself is very exhausting. I haven't been doing it for a very long time. It's a hard habit to get into. It's a good habit to get into, but it's a hard habit to get into. So I'm doing these things and I'm setting these boundaries and I'm feeling pretty okay about the stuff that I'm doing, but it's weird because I'm not used to it. It's that transitional state. It's that change. And I had a friend over yesterday and we were talking about stuff and we were just talking, working through some issues, sharing stuff. She was like, be my therapist, tell me what to say. And I'm like, I'm not a therapist. She's like, why didn't you become a therapist? And I was like, well, I tried once upon a time in my life. I signed up for some program to become a therapist and I didn't pass the introductory course. And they're like, you can take it up to 3 times to get into it. And I was like, don't want to be therapist bad enough to take this class again. Sorry. I don't. And I didn't pass because I lacked confidence in myself. I talked too fast and because I still had too many of my own issues I had to work through. So becoming a therapist would just be a trigger for me. But I thought that I'd been, groomed my whole life to be a therapist because it was my job to fix everybody else's problems. And that's what therapists do, right? They fix everybody else's problems. Really, I think they just listen to your problems. They repeat back to you what you're saying. They help you to validate yourself. They help you to recognize that, maybe things didn't go well in your past. They help you to process emotions if you're like me and didn't learn how to do that. And you're still having to learn how to do that. Just things like that. But I've also come to realize that therapists may be triggered by conversations, but also that they have to be very healthy in order to help other people. Because honestly, I'm learning if I'm not full, like spiritually full, emotionally full, if I'm not taking care of myself, if I'm not at a good place where I have extra energy, extra whatever to share or give to somebody else, giving away what I have is like draining. It's like, hey, I got a drop of water. I'm thirsty or I'm starving, whatever it is. But here, I'll give you my crumb. I'll give you my drop of water. I'm going on empty. And what I'm giving isn't very good. It's not very much. It's not very helpful because I don't have anything. But when I'm feeling better, I'm confident in myself, I'm full up, I'm like, oh yeah, I could totally give whatever you need. And I'm also learning that when I'm giving and doing, like in these YouTube videos, that a lot of it is coming from God through me. It's like another voice speaking, and I'm learning from myself, about myself. I'm having to share things about myself or discover things about myself. So like yesterday when my friend was here and we were talking about stuff, and she's struggling with something, and it was kind of like she's done all this work, she's really healthy, and then she's like at the brink of change, like just waiting. And I've listened to talks like from Sherry Dew and Wendy Nelson about change, and it's really interesting about change. And there's something one of them says where you're like at the corner and you're all ready to change. And I think it's Wendy Nelson, and she's like, there's a no right turn on red sign or something, that's just stopping. You're like, I want to change. I'm ready to change. I'm just waiting for the light to change. Sometimes I feel like that's me. Like I just can't make that turn. I can't change. And I was realizing as I was talking to my friend yesterday, and as I was sharing, giving advice, whatever you want to call it, that it occurred to me that I'm kind of in the same situation where she's at, where I want to change. I feel like I need to change. I feel like I'm going in this positive direction. These are all good things that I'm doing. And then it kind of just occurs to me that in order to make that change, I have to let go of the past. I have to forgive. I have to let go. I have to stop using all of my old excuses. I got a ton of those. Really, I do. But I have to stop doing that. And I have to just move forward into the unknown, into that uncomfortable space. And it's only uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, because it's new, not because it's bad. It's just, I don't know what to do with it. It's brand new. It's like learning something new. And I always felt like if you didn't get it right the first time, you didn't get a second try. A lot of my childhood was that way. I'm like, you do this. I'm like, oh, you didn't do it right. That's it. I'm done. I'm taking over. You're not doing it fast enough. Too bad. I'm taking over. Oh, you hesitated. You don't want to do that. Too bad. You don't get to do it again. So not everything in my life was that way. It's just that those moments for some reason stick out more than the other moments, the good moments, the training moments, the nice ones. Those ones I have to hunt for because all I focused on was the negative ones. So it's, again, changing my perspective, my thought process, reminding myself that I can do good things, positive things, that I have lots of talents and blessings, and it's okay to explore that. It's okay to step out into the great unknown and explore what's out there. And I might find some really amazing things. But in order for me to step out there, in order for me to have those experiences, I have to let go of the familiar stuff. And the old familiar stuff is holding me back. It's full of excuses. It's full of negative thoughts. It's full of all those things in my head that say, well, don't do this because you're not going to like it. You don't like this. You don't like that. You're not going to be good at it. You're going to miss this too much. Just full of excuses, full of negative thoughts, or the expectations, unrealistic expectations, like you have to be perfect. If you don't get it right, it doesn't count. Or, if you do it perfect, nobody's going to notice. Nobody's even going to pay attention because they're only looking for the mistakes. So they're only going to see the mistakes. So if I write this book and publish it, nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to see it if it's perfect. So then it has to be flawed so people can tell me how horrible it is. If they tell me how horrible it is, then I don't want to write another one. So I think I'm sitting in this limbo of negative thoughts, of past excuses and thoughts and reasons. And in order for me to finish my book, to move forward into this great unknown, I have to be willing to let go of those negative thoughts, to let go of those excuses, to recognize that I deserve better, that I can have better, that I can be better, that there is no shoe waiting to drop. There is nobody standing there waiting to pull the rug out from under my feet. That this is actually solid ground I'm walking out to. This is an open field full of opportunities and possibilities. And I just have to be willing to let go of the hurt, let go of the pain, let go of the excuses, and sounds so easy, but it's not easy to make those changes. It's not easy to let go because that's the negative is what I know. Those thoughts, those things, I think I built up walls and other things that I put there to protect myself. And I've got like this chain link fence or this barbed wire fence I feel like right in front of me. And if I take it down, then I'm vulnerable. I'm open. I'm exposed. And I I don't want to take it down, but I don't realize that I'm like it's cutting me like a barbed wire fence. It's cutting me. I'm all tangled up in this mess from the past. So I have to work through it. I have to feel it. I have to cut it out of me. I have to let it go and move forward. And that's kind of, the realization that I'm having, but it doesn't mean that I'm there yet. I'm not there yet, and maybe I'm not ready to do that just yet. But I'm grateful that I'm starting to see that I can have these analogies, that I can recognize that there is an open field waiting for me when I'm ready to let go, and that there's a process I can go through to help me let go of these things, that I can set boundaries and make changes, that I don't have to wait for repercussions, or it doesn't matter how other people respond. If it makes me feel good and it helps me to take care of myself, then it's good and it's what I need to be doing. So it's this is difficult for me, but I'm learning and I'm sharing with you what I'm learning, and I'm hoping that it's helpful to you as well. And just grateful that I'm having these insights, and grateful that I know that God will help me through all of these struggles. Grateful that I have friends and family that are supporting me in these changes I'm trying to make, that are encouraging me to finish my books, that are telling me I'm doing a good job. Grateful that I can see the positive things in my life and see the difference of how I feel with good things versus the bad things, or positive versus negative, and slowly realizing and working on letting go of the negative things, because they don't make me feel any better. And bringing them up and playing them over and over again just makes me feel worse. It validates the negative and makes me feel worthless, which I'm not worthless. I'm a daughter of God, and He loves me, and He's blessed me with talents and things that He wants me to use to bless the lives of other people. And I can't do that if I can't see my worth, and if I'm not willing to let go of the negative. So I'm trying. This is a transitional stage, and this is day 12. So I'm still doing this, which I'm also grateful for, because it's again helping me to see myself, face myself, share what I'm thinking and feeling, and then just putting myself out into the great unknown. So maybe if I can survive the reaction or lack of reaction to videos in the great unknown, I can do it with my books as well. So that's what I'm hoping for. And if this is helping you, just please share, like, subscribe, whatever it is you want to do. And thank you.